I'm Jamie Hooper with Remax Crest and jamiehooper.com, and today we're here to talk about buying a home in Greater Vancouver and the 7 things that you should know about before doing so. So before we get started, we'd just like to ask you, if you enjoy these videos, to either click on the like button, make a comment, or subscribe to our YouTube page. We'd really appreciate it if you did so. So the first thing I want to talk about is related to why it's a good investment to buy real estate in Greater Vancouver. Let's talk about the population growth and how the city's grown since the end of World War II. So at the end of World War II, there was approximately 450,000 people in 1945. By the time the World's Fair got here in 1986, there was 1.3 million people. By 2000, there was 2 million people. Today, there's 2.8 million people. And they say by 2040, there's going to be 4 million people here. So why this is important to you is because Vancouver is a landlocked city, and what the benefits from you investment-wise are, we're going to explain in the next frame. So the next frame, as I said, is about Vancouver being a landlocked city. Investment-wise, what that means is there's no more land here. You can't go south because we're right on the U.S. border. You can't go west because you'll hit the Pacific Ocean. Vancouver is right on the Pacific coast. And the third thing is you can't go north because you'll hit the mountains. The only way in years past where developers could find more land was to typically head east and go further from the city. But now when you get out as far as Abbotsford, there's virtually no land left anywhere. So Vancouver is a landlocked city where we're now starting to see they're trying to densify the city, rezoning single-family areas into multifamily areas all over the Greater Vancouver Regional District. From a lifestyle point of view, you might not like it, but from an investment point of view, it's a great thing. The third thing you may want to know about is the mortgage stress test. The Canadian government, about 18 months ago, wanted to make it wanted to tighten up the bank's lending rules. So what they did was they came up with a program where you actually have to qualify higher than the interest rate you're going to pay. So as of today, at the time of making this video, the best 5-year rate we can get is 2.99%. So that is in actuality what you would pay for your mortgage. But you have to qualify for that mortgage 2% higher. You have to qualify at a rate of 4.99%. So what does that mean in real life? How does that affect the buyer? Well, first of all, let's say you've got a $100,000 family income. If you wanted to purchase a place with a $700,000 place, that's what you would qualify for with 20% down. So you would put $140,000 down and have a mortgage of $560,000. That's the most you could qualify for with income of $100,000 per year. Previous to that, without the stress test rules, if you only had to qualify at the 2.99%, you would today be able to buy a $900,000 property. So it's affecting you about 23% of what you can buy home-wise. And what that's doing, it's had an effect on the market around here for the last 18 months. Number 4 is taxation on your purchases. There's some taxes in BC and in Vancouver that are unique to other parts of the country. So the first one is the property transfer tax, and that is on a graduated scale. The higher you go up, the more you pay. So on the property transfer tax, as it works, is 1% of the first $100,000 that you've purchased, and then 2% up to $2 million. So, for instance, on a $1 million property, you would pay, and I'm calculating this in my head because I didn't do it quick enough. You would pay so you would pay $18,000 on the purchase of a $1 million property. Once you get above $2 million, the property transfer tax increases over that. So anything above $2 million, you'll pay 3% on. So if you purchased a $2 million property, you're, again, 1% of the first 102 and 38, you would pay $40,000 in taxes to the provincial government on a purchase of $2 million. The other tax we have that is for various areas, but Vancouver is the #1 area they were targeting, is the foreign buyers tax. Originally, when implemented in 2016, the foreign buyers tax was 15%. Now today, the foreign buyers tax is 20% for non-Canadian residents. So those are a couple of big ones that you want to know about before purchasing. Another thing, the next topic is leaky condos. Now, this problem was a mess and a big problem all through the mid to late 90s to even up to about 2005. And what happened was any buildings built between 1980 and 1999 had different building codes from today. And what happened was these building codes simply weren't tough enough to build these condominiums to make them water resistant. And what happened was they had a lot of water ingress issues and there were major problems. I have no idea the exact figure, but probably more than 50% of the buildings built between 1980 and 2000, there were problems down the road where massive assessments were put on these buildings by the strata councils because they had to repair them because they were literally rotting away. So you want to make sure that these buildings, any building that you pick, if they were built in that era that you want to purchase, you want to see if they have an engineer's report, and if they ever looked into their problems and dealt with them. I mean, still to this day, you see the odd building coming up where that were built in this era that they have never had an engineer come on and check them. There's not many left, but there are still some out there. So make sure if a building was built between 1980 and 1999 that you do your homework before placing an offer. The next thing is assignment sales. Assignment sales have been a big deal around Greater Vancouver since probably the early 2000s. The condo market has essentially gone straight up during that period of time. There was a little bit of a lapse, and especially since 2015 through 2019. And what happened was when these developers would offer these sites for sale, people would go in and buy 2, 3, 4, 5 units at a time, never planning on completing on the units. They were buying them playing like the stock market and counting on them appreciating before they had to close. So let's say I go in and I buy 3 units in a building in 2015, knowing that the building's not going to be ready till 2018. So I'm going to hope, and I put $100,000 down on each unit. So by 2017, I'm thinking, okay, market's up 25%. I'm going to see if anybody wants to buy my contract from me and pay me the 20% that the market's up, which lots of people did. And these people, never having any intention to close on these units, were able to sell them off, make a profit, and walk away. Well, now that's kind of changed. The market for the last 12 months the condo and townhouse market has not appreciated. It's either been flat or declining slightly. Excuse me. And they're having, I should say, so now people with assignment sales are having a hard time selling them because they're trying to get more out of them and they're actually worth less than what they paid for them. So that's something to really keep an eye on over the next couple of years to see what happens with all these pre-sale condos. The last thing you may want to know about buying a place in Greater Vancouver is that this market may have bottomed out. There's some signs and indicators. Now, I'm not saying it has, I'm saying it may have bottomed out. There's some signs and indicators from previous markets to tell us that this could be an excellent time to buy. So I'll leave that up to you. I'm Jamie Hooper with RE/MAX Crest. If you've enjoyed this video, please, like I asked earlier, either click like, make a comment, or subscribe. And if you're interested in purchasing property in Greater Vancouver, please get a hold of us through our website at jamiehooper.com.